The Russian invasion of Ukraine has placed the Ukrainian people at the forefront of an unprecedented conflict in the turbulent world of today. This story crosses national boundaries and illustrates the tenacity of a country willing to defend its sovereignty as history is being written along the Surovikin Line. As Ukrainians exhibit incredible bravery and togetherness in the face of difficulty, the entire world watches with anticipation. The account of Ukrainians reached the Surovikin Line is a monument to the tenacity of the human spirit and a bravery narrative that will live on in history. Let's dive into it. The Surovikin Line, a crucial battlefront. The Surovikin Line has emerged as a crucial battleground in the crisis that has consumed Ukraine, capturing both the strategic importance and fortitude of the Ukrainian people. This line, which sits at the intersection of important communication and supply lines, performs a dual function. It both acts as a deterrent to approaching Russian forces and represents Ukraine's determination to protect its territorial integrity. Geographically speaking, the Surovikin Line crosses areas that connect vital hubs of Ukraine's infrastructure. By securing this corridor, Ukrainian troops can successfully take back control of major thoroughfares and sever vital Russian invasion army's supply lines. The enemy's advances have been slowed down by this strategic advantage, which has also demonstrated the military prowess of the Ukrainian defense forces. The Surovikin Line also has historical resonances, evoking struggles in the past in which borders and lines were defended from incursion. This line now stands for the contemporary expression of Ukraine's sovereignty movement. The Ukrainian military and people stationed along this line have persevered, which is a monument to the country's unflinching character. The Surovikin Line has evolved from being merely a physical barrier to embodying the beliefs and aspirations of a country battling for its future as the battleground continues to see intense confrontations. The courage shown by the Ukrainian military as they resist all odds and hold firm underlines their dedication to defending their country. The Surovikin Line continues to serve as a barometer of the conflict's dynamics, which the international community closely monitors. Beyond territorial reasons, its importance offers a window into the geopolitical complexity that characterizes this crisis. The Surovikin Line ultimately serves to highlight the fact that, despite the fact that combat lines may be marked on maps, the real conflict is over the preservation of Ukrainian identity, ideals, and cultural heritage. Unity amidst diversity. The volunteer forces. A bright spot appears in the form of the Ukrainian volunteer soldiers amid the chaos and confusion caused by the Russian invasion. These exceptional people, who come from a variety of backgrounds and occupations, have freely decided to defend their country alongside the regular military troops. Their combined dedication stands as a potent representation of the country's unshakable togetherness in these trying times. These volunteers are not professional troops. Instead, they are regular people who have heeded the call to duty to defend their nation, including teachers, doctors, artists, engineers, and others. Their goal is to maintain Ukraine's core principles and goals, not merely to protect the country's geographical borders. These volunteers have transcended their particular identities to serve as a living example of the Ukrainian people's unwavering spirit in the face of an existential threat. These volunteers are the epitome of selflessness, united by a deep love for their country and a belief in Ukraine's sovereignty. They enlist in the armed forces, leaving behind their families and careers in order to uphold the honor of their country. No matter what their background or rank, they all have a stake in preserving Ukraine's future, as demonstrated by their deeds. Beyond the battleground, the volunteer forces have developed into a national inspiration. Their unflinching resolve reverberates throughout the nation, inspiring communities and giving them a fresh sense of resolve. Through social media, their tales of sacrifice, unity, and bravery are shared, building a sense of pride and unity in the country that cuts across geographical lines. The volunteer troops emerge in this period of Ukrainian history as torchbearers of a common identity, as well as territorial protectors. Their bravery dispels the myth that regular people can't make a difference in the face of insurmountable obstacles. Their sacrifice serves as a reminder to the rest of the world that even the mightiest invaders may be repelled in times of crisis by the collective strength of a people united by a shared goal. Humanitarian resilience, providing aid amidst adversity. Beyond the brutal terrain of war, the Russian invasion of Ukraine has sparked a catastrophe of enormous humanitarian proportions. The Ukrainian people have shown an unwavering dedication to the values of compassion and unity despite the upheaval. A coordinated effort to offer assistance has emerged as a tribute to the nation's resilience, while homes are reduced to rubble and lives are upended. Ukrainian aid organizations, volunteers, and regular residents have stepped up to the plate in the wake of displacement and disaster. Their commitment to lessening the suffering of fellow Ukrainians, although confronting their own difficulties, serves as a moving illustration of humanity's capacity for empathy in difficult circumstances. These humanitarian activities become a lifeline as towns are destroyed and families are torn apart. Essential supplies are delivered to affected areas via humanitarian convoys, which frequently navigate hazardous terrain and unstable settings. For people driven from their homes by the fighting, shelter, food, water, medical care, and other basic necessities have become essentials. In addition to easing physical suffering, this outpouring of relief aims to recognize the worth and dignity of each person who has been harmed. Unsung heroes have emerged from the upheaval by welcoming individuals who have lost everything into their homes and hearts. Communities have come together to provide shelter, proving that even under the most trying circumstances, bonds of solidarity can endure. As foreign humanitarian organizations work together with their Ukrainian counterparts to offer much-needed relief, the spirit of altruism transcends national boundaries. Delivering aid, however, is not without its difficulties. The unpredictable nature of the conflict and the danger posed by ongoing conflicts frequently make it difficult to provide assistance. Additionally, the limits of humanitarian activities are being pushed by the huge demand and strain on resources. However, the commitment to helping the most vulnerable people endures because of a shared desire to mend relationships and start over. The humanitarian resiliency of Ukrainians shines brilliantly despite the chaos of war and displacement. Their unrelenting attempts to offer support, consolation, and hope in the face of hardship serve as a timeless reminder that empathy and compassion are forces that can triumph over all conflicts. The tale of their kindness serves as a monument to the persevering human capacity to overcome even the most trying situations, providing a ray of hope for the future. Digital defenders, countering propaganda and disinformation. Battles in the world of modern warfare go well beyond the actual battlefields. Following the Russian invasion of Ukraine, a brand new kind of warfare has begun to take shape, one conducted in cyberspace, where data is weaponized and stories are twisted. In response to the waves of propaganda and misinformation spread by the invading armies, Ukraine's digital defenders have emerged to act as a barrier. A number of people have stepped up to confront Russia's web of lies amidst the chaos of the fight. These contemporary heroes, sometimes referred to as cyber warriors, use social media platforms, online discussion forums, and cooperative fact-checking projects to debunk false narratives and make sure the truth wins out. Instead of using guns or tanks as weapons, they use keyboards and computer code to reveal false reports and misleading information. These digital guardians combine their technological know-how with a dedication to the truth. They present a more accurate picture of the situation on the ground by spotting and disproving bogus news, altered photos, and edited films. Together, they have not only preserved the integrity of Ukraine's story, but also helped to shape how the conflict is seen around the world. Their relentless efforts serve as evidence of the influence of knowledge in the contemporary world. They are safeguarding the values of accountability and transparency in addition to combating propaganda and preserving the honor of their country. But they face difficulties in their conflict. It is challenging to identify every piece of misleading information before it spreads due to the size and pace of the digital world. Moreover, those who want to silence their views frequently threaten cyber defenders with hacking, harassment, and spying. They continue to be steadfast in their resolve despite these obstacles. The tireless work of Ukraine's online defenders in the war against false information serves not just their own nation, but also the rest of the world. They serve as a reminder that fighting falsehoods requires more than just the use of conventional weapons. It also requires a dedication to upholding the truth, accuracy, and principles that define who we are as people. International solidarity. A glimmer of hope amidst adversity. A glimmer of optimism shines through the war in the form of global support for Ukraine. Nations from all around the world have come together to denounce the aggression and support Ukraine's sovereignty as the Russian invasion of Ukraine takes place. This chapter explores the tremendous significance of this global solidarity by showcasing the power of diplomacy, the breadth of our outrage, and the principles that unite us all when the world is divided. A common commitment to peace and justice unites world leaders in their outcry, which reverberates across diplomatic corridors and strikes a chord in people's hearts everywhere. The enactment of economic penalties on Russia, the severing of diplomatic ties, and the unanimity with which the invasion was denounced all serve to highlight the firm stance taken by the international community against this breach of international law. Various nations and organizations are leading the humanitarian aid and relief operations, which are a lifeline for Ukraine's affected regions. The Ukrainian people are provided food, housing, and medical supplies in an unceasing display of solidarity that serves as a reminder that they are not fighting alone. Bordering nations open their borders as refugees abandon their homes in search of safety, illustrating the shared obligation to protect and provide for the vulnerable. The unwavering faith in the ideals of freedom, democracy, and self-determination is demonstrated by the widespread support for Ukraine. It draws attention to how interrelated the world is, and the understanding that an assault on one country's sovereignty is an insult to the tenets upon which the international order is based. In the end, the world's support for Ukraine demonstrates how shared principles can cut across geopolitical boundaries. It shows that even while fighting continues along the Surovikin Line, the global community is unwavering in its call for justice and the return of peace. The Ukrainian people find comfort, strength, and a glimpse of hope for a better future beyond the invasion's shadows in this united front. The persistent spirit of the Ukrainian people serves as a lasting symbol of hope as the world continues to be enthralled by the events taking place along the Surovikin Line. The bravery shown in the face of the Russian invasion is a wonderful example of how humanity can triumph even in the most hopeless situations. The tale of their tenacity will endure over time, inspiring succeeding generations. The history of this struggle becomes a tribute to the strength of solidarity, the tenacity of determination, and the victory of the human will over the forces of oppression as nations band together in support of Ukraine's desire for peace and freedom. If you found this video helpful, don't forget to hit that like button, subscribe to our channel, and share it with your friends.